Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am Ashley Rose Guadalquiver, and together with my partner, Enoch Vanessa. So, in this video, we'll be talking about Lesson 20, which is all about discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression in the Philippines. Next slide, please. Okay, so learning objectives. So at the end of this module, students should be able to first understand the issues on human rights, violations, and discrimination on the basis of SOGI. Number two is understand the impact of human rights violation and discrimination to the Filipino society. And lastly, formulate activities and programs to address these human rights violation and discrimination on the basis of SOGI. So, next slide, please. Okay, so for the definition of terms, so SOGI, it is an acronym for sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. So aspects of gender of persons which must be considered and given attention. So sexual orientation, this refers to um, who they are attracted to. While gender identity, it refers to how they see themselves. And gender expression, it refers to how they present themselves. So, Sugi, it is about understanding and respecting everyone's unique identity. So, that's for the term for Sugi. And next is we have the anti-discrimination bill. So, anti-discrimination bill, a proposed legislation before the Philippines Congress intended to prevent various economic and public accommodation related acts of discrimination against people based on their SOGI. So basically, this is a proposed law in the Philippines to stop unfair treatment of people because of their SOGI. So we all know that as an individuals, we have our different sexual orientation, sexual identity, and expression. So this anti-discrimination bill, it aims to protect our rights and ensure equality. So mo na siya ang sa anti-discrimination bill. So next slide please. Next slide please, Miss Trisha.
Next slide na, Ash.
Thank you. So for the introduction is we have the universal policy. So according to Article 2, Section 1, 3, and 26 of the Convention, it provides for the respect, equality, and non-discrimination of all individuals on the grounds of inter alia, race, color, and sex. So these articles from the convention emphasize that everyone should be treated equally and with respect, no matter what their race, color, or Okay. So for the introduction is we have the universal policy. Article 2, Section 1, 3, and 26 of the Convention provide for the respect, equality, and non-discrimination of all individuals on the grounds of inner alia, race, color, and sex. So these articles from the convention emphasizes that everyone should be treated equally and with respect no matter what their race or what their skin color or gender are. So discrimination against anyone based establishes the universal policy. Next is we have the national policy.
So good evening, everyone. I will be continuing Miss Ashley's report. So next is national and local policies. In the House of Representatives of the Kabataan Party List, Raymond Palatino filed House Resolution number 1333, which seeks to investigate prejudicial, discriminatory, and unjust practices and policies against LGBT students implemented and tolerated in schools, partnering with the DepEd and other government agencies. So in May of 2012, the DepEd issued DepEd Order Number 40, or the DepEd Child Protection Policy, to guarantee the protection of children in schools from any form of violence, abuse, or exploitation regardless of sexual orientation and gender identity. So the House Resolution number 1333, filed by Kabataan Party List Representative Raymond Palatino, highlights the systematic challenges faced by LGBT students in the school. So this resolution aimed to address practices and policies that discriminate against LGBT students, advocating for an investigation into these injustices. So by partnering with the DepEd, Department of Education, or what we call DepEd, and other government agencies, the resolution sought to push for reforms to ensure that schools are safe spaces for all students, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity. In other hand, in support of this advocacy, the DepEd issued DepEd Order Number 40, or the Child Protection Policy, in May 2012. This policy underscores the importance of safeguarding students from violence, abuse, including those rooted in SOGI, or what we call the sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. So, for instances, schools are expected to implement anti-bullying campaigns and programs to protect LGBTQ plus students from harassment by peers and staff. Also, a case example could involve a student who is harassed for their non-conforming gender expression under DepEd Order Number 40. The school is mandated to take immediate action to ensure the child's safety. So these policies reflect efforts to integrate inclusivity and equality into the education system, promoting the rights and dignity of LGBT students. So next is the effect of state discrimination in society. The state's treatment of LGBT individuals intensifies discrimination at the basis of SOGI within Philippines society and social institution. So when the state itself fails to fully recognize or protect the rights of LGBT individuals, it sets a precedent for discrimination to thrive within society. By not passing comprehensive legislation such as the SOGI Equality Bill or tolerating anti-LGBT practices, the state indirectly sends the message that such discrimination is acceptable. So this has the following effects. First is increase the discrimination in institutions. For example, schools might enforce discriminatory dress codes requiring students to wear uniforms based on their assigned sex at birth, disregarding their gender identity. Next is normalization of prejudice in communities. So, state inaction against workplace discrimination often leads to widespread biases. For instance, transgender individuals may be denied jobs because their gender expression does not align with societal expectations. So, moreover, The absence of strong anti-discrimination laws allows stereotypes and biases to perpetuate in cultural and social contexts, marginalizing LGBT individuals further and hindering their participation in education, work, and community life. So together, these factors create a hostile environment for LGBT people, reinforcing societal inequalities and deepening their struggles for acceptance and equal treatment. So first, we have here discrimination by the Catholic Church. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, or the CBCP, and Episcopal Commission on Family and Life, or CL, has been fervently demanding Congress for the removal of sex, gender, sexual orientation, and gender identity. In the comprehensive anti-discrimination ordinances filed in the Senate and in the House of Representatives, claiming that its inclusion will only create problems regarding ethics, marriage, the family, and religious freedom, and reasons that the difference in sex or gender does not belong to the same level as the difference in race, color, religion, or ethnicity. So the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, or the CBCP, has opposed anti-discrimination laws that include protections for sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, or the SOGI. They argue that these laws conflict with religious teachings about marriage and family. So why this is discrimination? It's because the CBCP claims that gender and sexual orientation differences are less significant than race or ethnicity. This stance invalidates the experience of LGBTQ individuals who often face exclusion and harm because of these very identities. So antagonists of the anti-discrimination bill claim that the passage of anti-discrimination legislation will open the door for same-sex marriages. A provision allowing for same-sex marriage was not present in the anti-discrimination bill at the time of its introduction, first filing, and has never been added. So example for clarity, imagine a transgender teaching being fired from a Catholic school simply because of their gender identity. This is justified by religious freedom, but it's also a clear denial of that teacher's rights or rights. Next, we have participation of the members of LGBTQ+ in public place. So Article 25 of the Convention provides for the right of each citizen to participate in public affairs, to vote, and to have equal access to public services in the country. These rights are provided free of unreasonable restriction and free from distinctions made on the basis of sex, which, as mentioned above, includes sexual orientation. So the ICCPR guarantees that right to vote, run for office, and participate in governance without unreasonable restrictions. But LGBTQ+ people in the Philippines often struggle to exercise these rights because of stigma or legal barriers. For example, so Geraldine Roman, or a transgender congresswoman, is a rare example of success. So many LGBTQ+ candidates face discrimination during elections. Some are denied support or smeared with homophobic campaigns, making it harder for them to achieve fair representation. So imagine na lang, grabe siya ang discrimination against LGBTQ+, right? So the key point here is the lack of LGBTQ+ leaders in government shows how prejudice limits their political participation despite laws meant to ensure equality. Next, we have discrimination in the military. Through their media announcements, it seems on the surface that the Philippine military and the police are adhering to the non-discrimination clause of the Philippine Constitution. Constitution or Article 2 and the ICCPR by its declaration of openness to admit gay, lesbian, and bisexual persons in military and police service. So the Philippine military and police appear to be open to the LGBTQ plus recruits, but their practices show otherwise. So, accept na sila sa kanang mga LGBTQ recruits sila, but ang ilang mga practices or ang ilang mga rules kay na show siya ability. So, extra requirements for LGBTQ plus applicants reveal bias, and there's a rigid enforcement of traditional gender roles where masculinity is overly valued. As we all know, the police ka ng very kaunti sila manlin mo, dili siya ka pwede kuan ka, feminine ka. In case, ay for sa mga lalaki or women. So, ano mga konta nga, this is harmful. So, this is harmful because LGBTQ plus individuals, especially those who don't conform to gender norms, are often seen as weak or unfit, even if they meet all the physical and mental requirements. So, na-adyo mo nga, parang, ay, ano siya, so, kung feminine ka ako sa katao o sa kalaki, nakunan ko siya, part sa LGBTQ plus, or na-discriminate siya. So, example is, an openly gay cadet in the Philippine Military Academy might excel in training but still face harassment from peers or superiors for being feminine. So, tanda ko siya granggo, makuha niya po ng siya nga, hindi ko siya nga at a joke kay part mo siya sa LGBTQ+. So, this shows that prejudice persists even when there's formal acceptance. So, unsa pa kada ko, ayang granggo, ang tanong sa mga tao niya is, i-take ito sa episode. So, upon closer inspection, the additional conditions required from gay, lesbian, and bisexual applicants and cadets demonstrate lingering prejudices and negative stereotypes toward LGBT persons. Also, the military's apparent strict adherence exclusively toward heterosexist, gender binary, or masculine and feminine roles discriminate against those that fall short of these standards and are considered as the benchmark of what constitutes being decent or proper. So, action plan and conclusion. So, what can be done for these conclusions to combat discrimination? First is awareness campaign. So, educate people on the importance of anti-discrimination laws. So, magkuhan tag campaigns on how to enrich or unsaon na to pagpakusog sa anti-discrimination or pagkuhan sa mga tao about sa anti-discrimination laws. Next is allyship training that help people understand how to support LGBTQ plus peers. And lastly is advocacy project. Work with groups that push for inclusive policies. So we have kuan man gyud mo kanang LGBTQ plus month. So ato iko ng mga advocacy na to para mo suporta sa kaning mga tao nga naa sa marginalized sector. So this generalized negative stereotyping of LGBT persons and the misconception that a person's sexual orientation define one's gender expression are most evident in the common position of the APF, PNP, and PMK towards gay and effeminate behavior. The identification of sources of discrimination is vital so that we will know how these acts are committed or performed in a social institution, therefore respecting actors. The unified output can result to a class program or activity addressing these concerns. So to summarize my topic or our topic is discrimination of people based on talking is widespread in the Philippines. So international and local policies are in place to address this prevailing issue. Yet, some institutions still spread this ill issue. What is clear is that everyone, including students, must act to resolve this issue. So understanding how these forms of discrimination occur help us combat them effectively, whether in religious institutions, public life, or the military. We need to address biases and ensure equality for everyone regardless of their gender and sexual orientation. that is all. Thank you.